What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Brendan and I'm BeemanX45, and today we're coming at you with another video. We have our last how to build video. This is going to be our Liberator, our Rock and Mineral, our Pyramidimon or Magnetic Dramon deck. This is one of our most favorite Liberator decks that we've had. EX8, when it came out, we were super stoked. It's EX10 now. It's only been 2 EX sets, and we already have another good batch of support for this deck, so I'm super excited about that. I'm super excited to play the Rock Mineral trait deck because I think it's a really cool mechanic that is something that was needed in the game. Black needed a cool kind of mechanic of its own that didn't really get shared between the other colors because black always feels like it gets left out on so many different things. It does have some good things that black always does have, but it just added more to the mix, which I think was really important. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about the cards in the deck. We have flushed out our Sunrizamon line a lot more, so you might not need as many other kind of rock mineral line cards, but we're still going to talk about some of the good ones that might be very good inclusions. We're going to get into that as well. And before we do, I'm just going to say one thing. This card right here, this Gogumon from BT10 is not a card I think you should play in the deck. I just was looking at it when I was looking at the Gogumons. I was like, why does this card even exist? It is literally have no effect and no inheritable. It has nothing. It is a 3-cost Digivolution. I mean, maybe it's because it's a play cost 5. Maybe that's why it's a little cheaper than your traditional level 5. But it just, like, why did this card even get made? And this was back in BT10. I thought that was a funny side, so I wanted to just have that in there with everything else. But let's get into it. And hey, if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. We love to hear your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss a single minute of fun. All right, well, starting it off, of course, we have our eggs. We have the old EX8 Tumblemon. When this effect trashes cards from a Rock Mineral trait Digimon's Digivolution cards, gain a memory. We also have the new Tumblemon we're getting in this one. Inherited opponent's turn, once per turn when one of your opponent's Digimon attacks by trashing 3 mineral or rock trait cards from this Digimon's Digivolution cards end the attack. That's really cool because it stops your opponent from attacking. It's an end attack and a negate attack, basically. You have to have 3 sources, so that's another thing too. But even then, you're using 3 source abilities, strip abilities on your opponent's turn, which can actually be very, very well. I still think this guy is seeing the play because he's gained memory, and memory gain is always super important, especially when you can reattach it and continue to gain that memory over and over again, especially when you have more Tumblemons in the deck. Maybe you go ahead and you play 5 Tumblemons and you just play one of these just in case you get it, and then you have a couple memory Tumblemons. And this guy, I just don't know. I think it's just probably going to be 4 of this guy, but you could play one of that. You could split it 3-2 ratio. This is an interesting card, but we'll see. I'm thinking that the old one's going to see more play. Moving on to your level 3s. We'll start with the Sunrizamons. So we have the BT21 Sunrizamon, which reduces your digital cost by 1, and has the, when inheritable, when in effect trash this card from a mineral rock trait Digimon, delete one of your opponent's Digimon play cost of 4 or less. Same inheritable for the EX10 Sunrizamon, and I believe, yeah, all of them play cost 4 or less, deletion on all your Sunrizamon, your Liberator Sunrizamon. And of course you have the new EX10 guy, which is on play. You may place 2 cards with mineral or rock trait from your trash as one of your mineral or rock trait Digimon's bomb dilution cards. So he allows you to gain extra sources. When effects trash this, we already talked about it. It's the same inheritable on all 3. And then of course your EX8 Sunrizamon is going to be your reveal top 3, add a rock or mineral trait card and a Liberator card to your hand. So you usually get 2 hits off of that. You're going to max out on this guy. It's going to be interesting to see what you play for these 2. Are we going to play both the BT21 and the EX10? And are we going to play some of the Gotsumon stuff? Because the Gotsumon stuff was really cool in terms of being able to put bodies and sources on your stuff. Like you had Gotsubod from EX8, which had on deletion by trashing a card with the mineral or rock trait in your hand, draw 2. So it was a draw engine for the deck. So you could potentially still play this. It had blocker inheritable. And then you could play the Gotsumon X Antibody, for its ability, and as well to have something you can strip with Pyramidimon. We've seen it in the comic. Basically, they use this combo to win with Gotsumon X Antibody because it digivolves for free. So it's an interesting kind of thing that you can do with this deck. I don't think you're going to play the EX7 one, the blocker reboot Gotsumon. I could be wrong. There's other ways to get reboot in this deck, but I could still see people playing like some couple copies of each of these for that kind of combo. But maybe we're just going to be maxing out on Sunrizamon. That's the interesting thing, is what is better? Is it better to have some of this engine in here mixed in with the Sunrizamon? Because I would say it's kind of disappointing that their inheritables are all the same. It'd be cool if there was another cool inheritable for the level 3s. Maybe a gain memory inheritable, not just for the Digi-Egg. That would have been nice, but they're the same inheritables, which kind of makes it disappointing. Like, their abilities are cool. Having the 1-cost Digivolution into your level 4 is always really good. And then, of course, having able to put sources back on play is also really good. But I think it's the fact that they have the same inheritable that kind of makes it a little bit lackluster. And then also there is the Piercing Sunrizamon, the one that gives you security attack +1. Now, if I played anything like this, I'd play like 1 copy. But I would probably play in the deck because the deck doesn't trash cards. And if you can't trash cards, because this is a card I would want to trash just so that I could attach it. It's not even a rock. It's a reptile. So it doesn't really matter because you can't attach it, but people were talking about it because all your Digimon you can have piercing. You can get piercing other ways. I don't think you're going to run that Sunrizamon. I just don't think he's good enough. Moving on to level 4s, you're probably going to play at least a couple copies of the Landramon from EX8 that lets you play a free close if you have 1 or fewer Tamers. His inheritable is same thing, delete a play cost 4 or lower. When it's trashed, you also have the promo Landramon. You are going to play max. All the promo cards are always a max of because they have such good abilities, and their start of main when digivolving by trashing 1 mineral rock trait card from any of your Digimon's Digivolution cards. Reveal top 3, add a mineral or rock trait to the hand, place 1 such card as the bomb Digivolution card, return the rest to the top room on the deck. This is just a sweet card. You're going to max out on it, whereas you might only play like 2, maybe 3 of this. And it has a really cool De-Digivolve source strip ability to one of your opponents. When it's trashed, De-Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. So it's a really good ability. I think that this is a must of 4 of. I think we missed the other Landramon, which is funny because I swear I hit him. Landramon. Okay, there we go. So there's the other Landramon right there. So looking at this guy is on play when digivolving by trashing 1 card with mineral rock trait from your Digimon's Digivolution cards. 1 of your Digimon with the mineral rock trait gains reboot and blocker and plus 3,000 until your opponent's turn ends. That's actually a decent ability, especially if you're adding cards with the Sunrizamon. You can potentially use 1 of those cards to buff your guy. He also has the same inheritable that lets you pop play cost 4 or lower, which again I'm a little bit bored of. So I don't think he's as good. He's definitely not as good as the promo, but you might play a couple copies of him for some variation, just so you don't have to play max out on say like the EX8 one, and so that you don't have to run things like Golemon. But we'll wait and see. Maybe the Golemon is better. I don't think it's better, but I think probably maxing out on the promo, 3 copies of each of the other Landramons. If you want 10, if you want less than that, you could play 2 of something and 3 of another. It just depends what you have room for in the deck. And then we have things like Gogmamon, which had the blocker. The EX8 had blocker, on deletion, reveal top 3 cards of your deck and play 1 mineral trait with a play cost 5 or less, which is good because it plays all your Landramons and anything below. So I still like that as a potential card you could run a couple copies of. And then opponent's turn. Once per turn, when 1 of your opponent's Digimon attacks, you may change the attack target to this Digimon. So that's kind of an interesting inheritable as well. There was also the Digiburst Gagumon from BT4 that lets you gain plus 2,000, has 1,000 inheritable, and Digiburst would activate any, source strip abilities, which is actually really cool. I don't think this guy's probably seeing play anymore, but he was a cool option that people were trying out the first time. I personally think this Gagumon is better. We have the old Programomon, the BT8 or EX81, which has collision, piercing, and fragment, which is when this Digimon would be deleted. When this Digimon would be deleted by trashing 3 of the Digivolution cards, it isn't deleted, so that's always good. Only protects from deletion. Piercing, collision is nice. It has the De-Digivolve source strip ability as its inheritable. If we go to look at the new Programomon, it has the same De-Digivolve source strip ability, but instead it has the warp. So for hand main, if you have close by placing Landramon from your trash as any of your Sunrizamon's bomb Digivolution cards, it Digivolves into this Digimon for cost 3. So this is why it's cool, because with the new Sunriza, you can place 2 cards. Then you can place a Landramon to Digivolve into this for 3, potentially for 2, if you were to have this Sunrizamon, but then you wouldn't have the sources. That's 1. So actually, the cool thing about this is if you were to play this Sunrizamon with this guy already on the board, you could then, if you could play this guy with this guy already on the board, you could then put the sources under this guy and then Digivolve for 2 into that Programomon with its warp ability. This might be probably one of the better warp ones, just because Digivolving into your level 4 in this deck is not always super good. I mean, the promo, yes, maybe, but not really the other guys all the time. So I think this one might actually see play, whereas a lot of the other warp ones we've got so far for the other Liberator decks are not seeing play. And then on play, when Digivolving, when attacking, by trashing any one of your Digivolution cards, one of your Digimon gains collision, blocker, and plus 3,000 DP until your opponent's turn ends. So just all the abilities, give himself all the abilities, and then of course this guy too gives reboot and blocker and 3,000. You make your guy super stacked. We have the new Pyramidimon, which has fragment 3 when Digivolve, when attacking once per turn. You may place up to 3 mineral rock trait cards from your trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards. So it's only once per turn, so you only get to do it once. And then when Digivolving, when attacking, by trashing up to 3 mineral or rock trait cards from any of your Digimon's Digivolution cards to one of your opponent's Digimon, reduce the play cost by 2 until their turn ends. The cool thing about this is you De-Digivolve with the Programomon, and then you reduce it by 2, the play cost by 2, to basically make it so you can pop it with your inheritables. So that's kind of good, where this inheritable on all your level 3s and some of your Landramons are better with this guy, because it reduces that play cost. I still don't think he's as good as the old. I think we're still playing, we'll probably play a couple copies of this, but we're probably maxing out on the old Pyramidimon, just because fragment 3, when Digivolving, when attacking, by trashing any 3 Digivolution cards, this Digimon unsuspends and gains security attack +1. That's super good. And stacks, so you can use it multiple times, especially if you can add sources. And then end of your turn, once per turn, you may place up to 3 mineral rock trait cards from your trash as the bottom Digivolution cards. So really, really good. So like that. And then of course the new Magnactramon are level 7, which is fragment 3, when Digivolving, when attacking, by trashing 3 mineral rock trait cards from any of your Digimon's Digivolution cards, delete your opponent's Digimon and trash their top security. When Digivolving, when attacking once per turn, by placing 3 mineral or rock trait cards from your trash as this Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards that unsuspends. So again, having those good abilities there too, and it Digivolves on 6 on a Programomon while you have close on the board, and then 4 on a level 6. So it's good. We have the new unique emblem for our options, which is going to have your main. You may play a Sunrizamon or close from your trash without playing cost, hand or trash, and then place this card in the battle area. Delay ability, one of your mineral rock trait may Digivolve. When one of your closest suspends, may Digivolve into a Digimon card with mineral trait and Liberator trait in the hand with the dissolution cost reduced by 3. We're probably we'll probably play a couple copies of this. Still probably playing at least, I think 3 copies or 2-3 copies of Zofar Kubus by trashing one dissolution card from one of your Digimon with the mineral rock trait until the end of your opponent's turn. It gains collision, blocker, piercing, and reboot. Collision. No, sorry, not collision, not blocker, but collision, piercing, and reboot. And then your Digimon's effects can't return it to the hands or deck, and it gets plus 3,000 DP. So that's really cool too. And then it also, off security, it deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest play cost. So that can be good if they're not playing a lot of Digimon. Of course, we have our closest two. We have the EX8 one, which is your memory tamer, and then when any of your Digimon Digivolve into rock or mineral traits by suspending this tamer, place 2 cards from your trash to the bomb as the bomb dissolution cards, so it adds back more sources. There's the promo close. It gains your memory at the start of your opponent's turn if your opponent has a Digimon, and then all turns when an effect trashes dissolution cards from your rock or mineral trait Digimon by suspending this tamer, place 1 card back in it, so it just replaces it. And then we have the new close, which started your main by returning this tamer to the bottom of the deck. You may play 1 close from your hand without paying the cost. Then if you don't have a Digimon, you may play 1 Sunrizamon from your trash without paying the cost. All turns when effects trash any of your mineral rock trait Digimon's dissolution cards by suspending this tamer, gain 1 memory. I don't know if you're going to play the new close, because she's not as good as the other 2, and she's only saving you 1 memory to go into the other close. But I mean, you do get to play a free Sunrizamon off of her, so that's technically not bad. But I mean, if you're going for the memory tamer, you've already lost that battle, because you'll replace her with that. I guess this is better because it adds 2 sources. I just don't know if there's any point to playing this card or just playing copies of this stuff. And then the EX8 guy, Landra, that lets you play your tamers for free. It doesn't feel like it's that good. Now, I'm excited for this deck because I really like the rock mineral deck. I think there's probably still a lot more work that needs to be done on this deck. It'll be interesting to see how consistent it is once we get the pieces here. Definitely, I'm okay with the Sunrizamon line. Landramon line's pretty good. Programmon, I think, is pretty good as well. Pyridimon's really great, and so is Magnetic Dramon. It's just these other things too, like the tamers and stuff like that. Some of the inheritables. I'm just on the fence about some of this stuff. And it's going to be really interesting to see how we build the deck from here now that we have a more fleshed out line. Now that we have that support there, that we didn't have an EX8 because we were very much reliant on other cards that weren't part of the actual Sunrizamon line in EX8. And now we're not as reliant on those. But at the same time, what's the best? What's going to be better? Is it going to be better to max out on Sunrizamons, or is it going to be better to have some of this Gotsumon stuff here as a potential like side kind of thing? Playing Gotsumon X Antibody for free, getting more draws, having something to detach for an effect could be really, really good. So we'll have to wait and see. But let me know your guys' thoughts about all this below. Where do you think this Liberator deck is going to land? Do you think it's got enough support to be more competitive now? Or do you think it still needs an extra, push just to make it, kind of higher there? Do you think we need some other, inheritables? Do we need some more memory gain inheritables? Something to just make it a little bit more consistent. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. Looks like that's all the time we have for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope to see you in the next video. As always, have a wonderful day. And that's all for now, folks.